Hello my dear students, welcome back to discrete mathematical course. In the previous lecture, we discussed about normal forms, what is a normal form and what are the different types of the normal forms like negation normal form, canonical normal, disjunctive normal form and conjunctive normal form. And we did some of the applications how to convert the given sentence into the form of these normal forms. Now coming to today's lecture. So summary of previous lectures, these are the topics till now we have discussed in propositional logic. Now we are going to discuss about theory of inference, which is very important topic in propositional logic. So before going to discuss about theory of inference, as we discussed already the meaning of inference. What is the meaning of inference? The meaning of inference is deriving new sentences. Deriving new sentences from the given old sentences. Deriving new sentences from the given old sentences is called inference. So why we need to derive the new sentences from the given old sentences? Suppose I have given some sentences like this S1, S2, S3, S4 and I want to prove that I want to check whether P will be derivable from the given set of sentences or not. This is the main subject of what? Mathematical logic. In our introductory class of mathematical logic, I have given the main subject of mathematical logic is mathematical proof. That is what we are trying to do now here. I have given few sentences like S1, S2, S3 and S4 and these sentences may be atomic sentences or these sentences may be complex sentences. Suppose I have taken like this, S is the sentence, S1, the first sentence has taken like this, S1 is, and the second sentence is taken as Q implies R, and the third sentence is taken as PR implies T, suppose, and S4 is the sentence, you can take P and R, you can take like this. S5 is the sentence, suppose only P is given. S6 is the sentence, negation of P. Suppose here negation P you can take, here some you can take negation P or negation Q or negation R. So these are the sentences which we have taken. I want to check that whether P or negation R. From the given set of sentences, 6 sentences, you need to check whether this sentence is derivable from the given set of sentences or not. Sometimes what will happen, from the given set of sentences, you may derive the given sentence, or what will happen, you may not get this particular sentence from the given set of sentences. In that case, whatever the sentences, old sentences are given, I am going to derive the new sentences from these given old sentences to prove that whether the given sentence is valid or not. So to do that, we need to use some laws. Those laws are called inference laws and this mechanism is called inference mechanism. Inference mechanism means what? Deriving the new sentences from the old sentences. Why we need to derive? Because from the given set of sentences, sometimes it is not possible to prove the given sentence. Like here, it is not. If it is not possible to prove this sentence from the given set of sentences, from the 6 sentences, whatever or 5 sentences is given, I want to derive the new sentences. How I am going to derive the new sentences? By using these sentences only, I am going to derive the new sentences. How do we do that? To do that, you need some laws. Those laws generally what we can call them as inference laws, or in propositional logic we are using these inference laws, therefore we can call them as propositional inference laws. we are going to discuss about these laws in this class or in this lecture, and we are trying to prove some of the sentences from the given set of sentences. Before that, you try to understand some notations in theory of inference. What are they? Let us try to understand. So, the main function of logic is to provide rules of inference or principles of reasoning. The theory associated with such rules is known as inference theory. This is what already we discussed in our introductory class. The main function of mathematical logic, or the main subject of mathematical logic, is to what? Mathematical proof. How do we do that mathematical proof? So, by using what? Rules of inference or principles of reasoning. So, we use some rules of inference or laws of inference and do the reasoning process. By that, we try to derive the given sentence, whether it is provable or not from the given set of sentences. Proofs in mathematics are valid arguments that establish the truth of mathematical statements. Proofs in mathematics, that means what? Whatever the statement which we are going to prove. Suppose I am going to prove the statement like this. I have taken the statement like this. P1 is the one sentence, P2 is the another sentence, P3 is the another sentence. These three are, suppose, three different sentences, or they may be atomic sentences, they may be complex sentences, whatever it may be. Now, using these three sentences, I want to prove that whether R is derivable or not. Just now we discussed. How do we do that? So, proofs in mathematics are valid arguments. We will discuss about what do you mean by an argument and when that argument is said to be a valid. Valid arguments that establish what? The truth of mathematical statements. That means, if these statements, all the given statements are true, then whether it will be derivable from the given set of sentences or not. That is what we need to check. Even though sometimes all these statements are true, it is not possible to get whether the given sentence. In that case, what we need to do? We need to derive the new sentences. Maybe you may not get. In that case, we can say that this R is not a valid sentence. If it is not possible to prove that whether R is true from the given set of sentences, then we can say that it is not a valid sentence. If it is true, then we can call it as a valid sentence. Rules of inference are templates for building what? Valid arguments. What do you mean by an argument? An argument is a sequence of statements that end with what? Conclusion. So, that means what? It is a sequence of statements or propositions. P1 is a proposition, P2 is a proposition, P3 is a proposition. So, an argument is a sequence of statements. Sequence of means if you connect these with what? And, or suppose this one you are going to connect with what? Implies, like this. Is a sequence of statements that end with what? A conclusion. Conclusion is nothing but we are going to define what it is. These are called the sequence of these statements, and all these statements, every statements what? By using all these statements, we try to prove that a statement. That means in the last case, I had said that S1, S2, S3, and check that whether S4. This is what we need to prove. And these are all, this is called the argument and this is called the conclusion. We need to get the conclusion from the given set of statements or sequence of statements. This is the one statement, this is the another statement, this is the another statement. By using these three statements, we need to prove that whether it is provable or not. This is what we can call it as a conclusion. All but the final propositions are called premises and the final proposition is called the conclusion. We will discuss what is that. An argument is valid if the truth of all its premises implies that the conclusion is also true. So, let us try to discuss what are these 3 points. Now, the definition is Suppose if you take propositions like, see, premises P1, P2, if you take P1, P2, P3, or these are all called what? Hypothesis. That means suppose I am going to take P1 is P implies Q. This is the one hypothesis. And P2, Q implies R. This is the another hypothesis. And P3, negation R or T. This is the another hypothesis. Now you need to check that whether T will be derivable or not, or Q or T is derivable or not, for example. So, in other words, an argument form with premises P1, P2 and conclusion Q is valid if and only if, I will tell you, if and only if what? P1 and P2 and P3. Using all these sentences, if it is possible to derive that sentence P4, suppose I am going to take P4, or you can take it as C, conclusion. Then here all these are, this particular statement, entire statement, generally we can call it as a argument. This is what we can call it as argument. In this argument, the statements which are left to the implication are called premises, and the statements which are right to the implication are called conclusion. That means this is called conclusion and these are called premises. The entire statement is called an argument, and the statement which is represented left to the implication are called premises, and the statement which are taken on the right to the implication are called conclusions. So, is conclusion Q is valid if and only if what? The condition is that if all these statements, all the premises are true, that means P1 is true, P2 is true and P3 is true. That means if it is true, if it is true, if it is true, such that by using this, if we can prove that this is also true, by using these three statements, if it is also true, then we can say that this particular argument, whatever the argument we have taken in the form of like this, is called a valid argument. That is the meaning of a valid argument. If and only if C is a tautology. That means what? If you take this entire argument, whatever the argument we have taken here, this is the argument which we have taken. This is called an argument. Just now I said this entire statement is called argument, or it is called argument form. The difference between argument and argument form is when we replace propositions with propositional variables, we have an argument form. That means instead of taking the statement like this, it is a rainy day, like this, suppose generally we are, this is the one statement, and another one is not going to college, this is another one, she works well, suppose this is the, and generally we are going to take and, so another statement implies what? If you can take another statement like this, generally we can call it as, this is called an argument. And the sentences which are there left to the implication, this is what we can call them. Each one is, this is a one hypothesis, this is the another hypothesis, this is the another hypothesis, like this. These hypotheses may be atomic, these hypotheses may be what? Complex. Any sentence we can take. And this is called the conclusion. Otherwise, if you represent, instead of writing the statements or proposition like this, if you represent them in propositional variables like this, the first statement is represented with P1 and the second statement is represented with P2, third statement is represented with P3 and so on like that. If there are n number of statements, by using these n number of statements, if you prove that Q is true or not, argument is a sequence of what? Statements. Just sequence of statements like this we are going to. If we represent these statements or propositions in propositional variables like this, propositional variables, this is represented with a propositional variable P1 and it is represented with propositional variable P2. If you represent like that, then we can call it as a argument form. And if this argument form is a tautology, tautology means what? when you take this entire sentence and construct a truth table, the last column of this compound sentence will give you all are true, then it is called a tautology. So, if you want to check that whether Q is valid or not, or this entire argument is a valid argument or not, whatever we are going to take, you need to construct a truth table for this entire argument and check that whether it is a tautology or not. Because construction of truth table is a tedious process, because of that we should not go for every time truth table to check that whether this argument is a tautology or not. If this entire argument is a tautology, then we can say that this argument is called a valid argument, and we can say that Q is a valid statement from the given set of sentences. Why? Because it is derivable. Remember that argument form is nothing but it is a form. Every proposition is replaced with a propositional variable. This is an argument, and every proposition is replaced with a propositional variable, and if you write any sentence in the form of like this, this is called a argument form. In this, if you prove this argument form is a tautology, how do we prove that? Either by constructing the truth table or by applying the laws. If you prove that whether it is a tautology, then this entire compound sentence is a tautology, then it is called a what? Valid argument. In this argument, the left hand side, whatever the statements which we are going to take to the argument are called generally premises. These are called premises. And the right hand side, whatever the statements we are going to take to the implication are called conclusion. If all the premises are true, that means whatever the hypothesis we are going to take, if all these hypotheses are true, such that Q is also true, if it is possible to derive that Q is also true, that means the conclusion is also true. This conclusion is called a valid statement from the given set of premises, and this entire argument is called valid argument. Remember that. It is very important. So, rules of inference. So, just now I said what? An argument is said to be a valid argument when, if you take an argumental form like this, P1, P2 and so on, Pn and Pn implies Q. It is said to be a valid argument when, if you construct a truth table for this and show that it is a tautology. This is what a valid argument. If you construct it, then we can call it as a valid argument. Generally, we can call this sentence is called an argument. If it is called a valid argument, if you prove that it is a tautology. In that argument, we discussed these are all called the premises, and this is called a conclusion. If all the premises are true, and if you can able to get this Q is also true from the given set of premises, then Q is called a valid statement from the given premises, from the given set of premises. Now, as I said, it is not possible to construct a truth table every time, because as the number of propositional variables are going to increase, the construction of truth table is a tedious process. Because of that, the another way of proving that whether the given conclusion is true or false, or it is derivable or not from the given set of premises, we need to go for rules of inference in propositional logic. So, let us try to discuss what are the rules of inference in propositional logic. In the previous lectures, we discussed about logical equivalence laws. All logical equivalence laws, the first and foremost thing you need to remember that all logical equivalence laws, are considered as inference laws or rules of inference laws in propositional logic. Other than these logical equivalences, there are some other rules which we need to discuss. What are they? So, let us try to discuss those rules. These are the rules of inference. Some of the rules of inference. The first rule is called here. The first rule is called here modus ponens. What is modus ponens tells us that, see, inference rule, if a statement is P is given and the another statement P implies Q is given, S1 is, this is the one statement and S2 is the another statement, and what, this is the conclusion which we need to prove. We need to check that whether Q is true or not from the given set of statements S1 and S2. If you prove that Q is true from the given set of statements, then we can say that it is a valid, this Q is a valid statement, and this argument is called, see, it is written in the argument form like this. This is called the argument form. This is called argument form. So in this argument form, if you prove that whether it is a tautology or not, by using the truth table, if you prove that, because here two propositions are there, so it is very easy to prove whether it is a tautology or not. P and P implies Q implies Q. So let me construct a truth table like this. I am going to take the first one. Suppose if you take first statement is P and the second statement is P implies Q. Implies Q. This is what we need to check whether it is a tautology or not. I am just proving the first one. So to do that, you need to take P and Q. P implies Q. Next, P and P implies Q. This is what we need to take. And finally, we need to check that P and P implies Q implies Q. So this is how you need to construct a truth table for the given compound statement. We discuss, now you have to take true, true, false, false. This is true, this is false, this is true, because there are two propositional variables, we'll get 4 rows. You know the definition of the implication. It will be false when P is true and Q is false. In the other cases, it will be true. So true and true is true, true and false, what? It is false. Since P is true, Q is false, and P is false, Q is true, it is true. P is false, Q is false, in that case also it is true according to the definition of implication. Next one, P and P implies Q. You have to take the conjunction between P and P implies Q. So conjunction will be true when both the statements are true. In other cases it will be false. True and true, you will get it is true. True and false, you will get it is false. True, false and true, you will get it is false. Finally false and true, you will get it is false. Like this you will get. Now the last compound sentence is what? This implies Q. That means you need to take the implication between these two statements. So again, true and true, obviously it is true. False and false, obviously it is true by the definition of implication. True and false, what you can get? It is false. False, false and false, you will get what? It is, sorry, we can take like this, true and true, it is true. False and false, it is true. False and true, obviously it is true, because the first statement is this: if this, then this one. If this one, then this one. So first, if P is true, Q is true, then it is true. If P is false, Q is false, in that case also it is true. If P is false, Q is true, in that case also it is true. If P is false, Q is false, then it is true. That is the definition of implication. So in the last column what happened? We got all are what? True values. Therefore it is a tautology. So if you prove like this, what is the meaning of that? If you prove that it is a tautology, what is the meaning of that? We can prove Q from the given set of statements. What? This is the first statement and this is the second statement. Using these two statements, we can prove the statement of what? Q. This is how you can check that whether it is derivable or not from the given set of statements. If you do like this, this rule is called, generally this is called modus ponens. The name of this inference law is called modus ponens. That is what it is given in the table. Let us go to the table once and check it. So that is the first one. This is the first one. P and Q, just now we proved that it is a tautology. It is a tautology. Similarly, if you take the statement, first one is like this, negation of Q, and the statement second one is like this, P implies Q, and if you prove that negation of P is derived from the given set of sentences, then that a rule is called modus tollens. Very, very important rule. If P implies Q and negation Q, this is, and to check that whether it is derivable or not, you need to check the entire argument form and check that it is a tautology. Just now I have proved how it is for this particular thing. If you prove that this entire argument form is a tautology, then it is, then negation of P is derivable from the given set of two sentences. That is the meaning. Similarly, the next one is what? Hypothetical syllogism. P implies Q is given one statement, another statement is Q implies R. If the two statements are given like this, by which we try to prove that P implies R. This is very. Another one is P or Q. This is the one statement, and negation P. This is the another statement. By using these two statements, we can prove that Q is true. So that is what. Generally, it is called disjunctive syllogism. And in artificial intelligence, it is also called unit resolution law. Unit resolution. This resolution inference law plays very, very important role in building inference engine in artificial intelligence. The another name is unit resolution, or the actual name is what? Disjunctive syllogism. It is where P or Q, negation P. If these two statements are given, from this we can derive what? Q, or Q is a valid statement. Another important laws, not only those, there are some set of important inference laws are there. This is the another important law. This is very, see, the first one is here, if P is given, only one statement is given, from that we can get a combined statement P or Q. Why? Because P is given. If P is true, then what? If you take any statements, if you take the disjunction with that particular statement, the other statements may be false. I am going to take P, this is only one statement. Because if it is true, let us take, if it is true, whatever the statements I am going to take, P or R or S, even though it will be false or it will be false. Even though it will be R is false, S is false, since it is true, the total, if you take the connectivity of these three sentences, it will give you true. If P is true, if you take the connectivity of the sentences like this, P or R or S, if you take R and S both are false, assume that they are, even though they are false, since P is true, according to the definition of disjunction, what will happen? If one is true, the entire statement will be true. If at least one statement is true, the entire statement will be true. Therefore, it is true. Because of that, if you know one statement and it is true, that by that we can get a compound sentence like this, P or Q. That is why not only P or Q, you can derive P or Q or R or S or T. It depends upon the given problem, we are going to derive the compound sentence by taking one sentence and if it is true, then by which we are taking the disjunction of more sentences with this sentence. That is what, and that is called addition. This is called addition. The next one is, see here in the previous case, if it is true, by which you will get what? Disjunction of the two sentences. But it is not the case of what? Conjunction. Why? Because if P is true, you cannot derive P and Q. Why? Because even though it is true, suppose if this is true, then only this entire statement will be true. If suppose it will be false, then this entire statement will be false. So according to the definition of argument form, if the premises are true, then the conclusion will also, you will get it is true, then only that argument form is called a valid argument. If premises is true and the conclusion whatever we are going to take like this P and Q, not only in one case, in all the cases it should give a true value. That is what we have taken in the truth table previously. We have proved one result. See, you may say that, sir, if P is Q is true, then this entire statement is true. Okay, it is true, but what happened? If P is true, Q and false, what will happen? This will give you false. So therefore, in that case what? In one case it is giving true, in the other case it is giving false. Therefore, it is not a valid argument. So if one sentence is not given, you cannot derive what? The conjunction of more sentences. But if one sentence will be given to you, you can derive the disjunction of what? More sentences like this, because if at least one value will be true, the entire sentence will give you the true value. That is why in the second case what he has taken here. So this is called simplification law. In this simplification law, what will happen? If you take the combined sentence with conjunction like this P and Q, we can derive what? P only. P. Why? Because if P is true, Q is true, P and Q are true, you can derive P, or you can take only one sentence, P, or sometimes you can take what? Q also you can take, no problem. Why? Because it is true. If it is true, the statement is true, therefore you can derive P. That is called simplification. See here the next case is conjunction, which we already discussed. If both the statements are true, then only you will get the combined statement is true. Therefore, P and Q is true. And the final one is, if the one statement is given like this, another statement is P and P or Q, and the next statement is negation P or Q, from these two sentences we can derive Q or R. This law is called resolution, which is very, very important law in propositional logic. So these are the some of the rules of what? Rules of inference in propositional logic. Remember that the logical equivalences what we discussed in previous lectures are also called the inference laws. We can use those laws also inference laws. Other than those laws, some other important inference laws which we discussed now, like modus ponens, modus tollens, disjunctive syllogism, simplification, conjunction, resolution, like this we discussed. You try to remember all these laws, so to derive or to prove the given argument is a valid argument or not. Thank you very much.